We are Fortnite gamers, mobile players, paywall haters, entertainers, hot as lasers. Tell your neighbor, do a favor, you should subscribe, and you'll see more. Not lightning, he's not lightning, so enlightening, not so frightening. Hit like, and you'll see more. Who farted? He's who farted, not faint-hearted, nor outsmarted. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Fortnite Gamers. I'm Night Lightning.
And I'm the most negative person on YouTube.
I am very excited about this character, the Beast, who is in the game. His event comes out when we're recording this in about 3.5 hours. And
I think, pun intended, that is 100% true. I'm not quite, although I am not negative, I'd like to point out, I'm not quite as excited as Night Lightning because I think that we are starting an extreme power creep, so I'm a little skeptical. But in terms of meta shift, in 3 hours it will begin.
his basic ability deals damage twice. If the Beast or target opponent has a harmful effect, attack again. And when this gets upgraded, if Belle's a team, and there's a 15% chance to counterattack when she takes damage. What's your takeaway from this basic right now?
So first off, this is straight up raid based. This is straight up Big Hero 6 based. This is your new counter. Any team that throws out any harmful effects is going to have to pay. And it's no longer like the small wait until that you've got with Cobra Bubbles. This is immediate, prepare to get your butt kicked, especially if you put buffs on Beast on top of it and he only has minor debuffs. So think of this early game. You might not want to get any debuffs on characters right away because otherwise you're going to have a constant attacking Beast and you're not going to want to do AoEs because if Belle gets hit, now you've got him counterattacking not only on his turn, but on your turn.
The ability for Beast to counterattack when Belle is hit, the fact that it's on his basic, means that it should not be stopped if he is silenced. For those who do not know or not thinking about this in the proper context, the update we just received also said that silence no longer stops passive abilities.
So I would also like, you pointed out one thing on this passive, no longer being blocked by silence. I think that everybody needs to be aware. That's a huge change because while it has a big impact on what's going to be a Beauty and the Beast team, it also has a huge impact on the Paul McCartney teams because you used to be able to silence Elsa and stop her from gaining what are they called? Spirit tokens. Now that doesn't happen. She gains spirit tokens every turn, no matter what, as long as she takes it.
Yeah, and I think they had to make this change because Ursula, who we know will become meta once people start unlocking her, so much of her abilities are based on her passive. And imagine having a raid character that takes so long and it's so hard to get unlocked, and you completely shut down their entire kit just by hitting silence. I think I'm actually impressed and glad that Glue has decided to make that adjustment because right now and in the future, without that change, it's just going to be a race to whoever silences the other person faster. And you should not be able to shut down an entire kit with a debuff that is so readily available in so many kits now.
And to be honest, anybody who's been applying proper strategy in Frozen versus Frozen teams, that's essentially what it's been in. Who can get a silence on the opponent's Elsa first before they get there's a taunt up? That was the strategy. So that changes a lot.
Yeah,
but I think we need to jump to, for brevity's sake, we need to jump to Belle. And the first thing that I would like to point out, and I'm not a person who goes and pats himself on the back and does that, but I'd like to point out, even though it came off as negative on my view on Belle, Belle is not a standalone character. Belle is not a legendary, is not a beast mode character. Belle makes Beast 10 times better, and he's already good. but she doesn't have much standalone value. If you take her out of a Beauty and the Beast, she's a mid-tier character, which I think, again, plays into the thing that Glue has done a very good job of taking a character's personality and putting it into the character's abilities. And Belle is not a dominating character. She's a doting, she's a caring character, which is exactly what this kit comes off like.
Yeah, I completely agree. Belle is really there to support Beast. She's got some things built into her kit. We're not going to go all in depth on it right now. Outside of flipping debuffs, she's mainly Beast support. She's there all to back this guy up right here.
So for all intents and purposes, while we're discussing Beast, we're also taking into account what Belle does to Beast, because we're going to assume you're going to be running Belle. If you're going to be running Beast, unlocking requirements, etc., dictate that.
Yeah, because why? Because here's the problem with the current triple silence meta, where you have Cobra Bubbles and you have Hiro and Baymax and Honey Lemon and Elsa. There's not really incentive otherwise to unlock other characters that don't have silence, because it's just a race right now. And thankfully that should change, because silence isn't going to be as impactful. And I'm really glad about that, because Beast's kit, especially his passive abilities are so important for him working properly that it would be immensely disappointing that this iconic character finally comes to the game and Cobra Bubbles can make him useless on turn 1. Let's look at his first special ability, which is called Get Out. You deal unavoidable damage to all opponents, and you're going to see a theme here, which is anti-Big Hero 6 for the most part. Unavoidable damage hits through evasion. You inflict Intimidate and Shaken for 1 turn on target opponent. If the target already has Intimidate, instead extend its duration by 1 to a max of 2. That is really awesome. Intimidate is going to stop that character from gaining speed meter. In addition, there's a 30% chance to inflict Intimidate and Shaken for 1 turn on adjacent opponents. So not only do you have an unavoidable attack that's going through your Big Hero 6 evasion, but you also are stopping them from doing what they do best, which is gaining speed meter.
And I'd also like to point out, if you look at the level 2, notice how it calls out if your opponents are not Kingdom.
Yeah.
So it's almost dictating at certain times that Kingdom will be the likely way to get around it. And I don't think there's Kingdom characters out there yet that will fully counter, let's call it Beast mode. But it's interesting because within Kingdom is pieces of Frozen. The old original meta of Shen Yu, Aladdin, Jasmine, and some combination of 2 more. And there's also the potential for, I think, Jafar to really shift things too. So interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is. I like what I like is that they might be setting up a rock, paper, scissors, which is the healthiest meta you could have, or the healthiest battles you could have.
Completely agree. And I'd also like to throw out that I don't think we're far off from Maleficent starting to get unlocked by certain people.
As soon as there's any kind of Maleficent event, we don't need that many shards to get her unlocked, and who knows what.
No, and Maleficent is Kingdom. So just remember that.
Yeah, that is a fascinating point there. That's really interesting. What's interesting is his special gives him taunt. And I don't know if you were surprised by this, just a slight tangent. I was shocked that Beast is a defense-based character. Beast is going to gain taunt for turns. He's going to draw fire to himself. But if Belle is a teammate, grant her 30% speed meter, haste, and harmful immunity for 1 turn. And harmful immunity is really important on Belle because this allows her to not get silenced or stunned or get hit with sleep, which means that her special abilities will be ready to go for calling Beast to assist in some of the other things we've seen in her kit. Beast also gains defense up for 2 turns, so kind of similar to Kristoff, he's going to have some staying power. In addition, we're going to increase the duration of Enchanted Rose on this character by up to 3 turns to a maximum of 6. And what's interesting about Enchanted Rose is Beast is going to be flipping between almost 2 different roles. He's going to be a very defensive, counterattack-based character for a while. And then if he loses his Enchanted Rose and goes bananas and gets empowered, he's going to just start smashing and eating people up. This special ability to me this has got to be one of the best special abilities in the entire game. This is
up there with Elsa level special abilities.
Yeah, he's going to steal all shield from target opponent, ignoring evasion. Again, F you, Big Hero 6. I'm going to deal up to 121 damage. If the Beast is not affected by Enchanted Rose, we're going to increase his damage dealt by 15% and inflict stun. So if you don't have the Enchanted Rose, he just eats you alive.
Okay, to me, this is straight up targeted, that first part, to Big Hero 6. And I think that everyone needs to realize this and farm accordingly. That's a big thing that I think needs to be called out.
Yeah, I haven't unlocked Baymax yet, and I'll be honest, I completely just abandoned my Big Hero 6 farming. Hero, I think, will still be good for raids, but no,
I think Hero will be good.
I have no illusions I'm going to be able to climb Sorcerer's tournament if there's a bunch of beasts around. If I'm running Big Hero 6,
no. To me, I think you should go back to farming Frozen. If you don't think you can unlock Beast in a timely time period. And additionally, the only people from Big Hero 6 I would focus on, like you said, Hero. Hero has value with, you can plug and play him in so many different things, but I wouldn't level 8 him. I know everybody was pushing for level 8 Hero because he's got some great level 8 ability tie-ins with Big Hero 6.
Insane.
Exactly. And I would say Honey Lemon still has value, maybe not as much value, but still value.
Yeah.
But after that, that's where I'd stop.
On top of all of that I just read, he's going to steal up to 2 helpful effects from target opponent, increase damage by 10% per helpful effect stolen. Oh my God, that is incredible.
This is some of the things that I'm concerned about power creep. Power creep ruins games much quicker. So if you're not careful with power creep, it can take a 5-year length game and make it 3 or 2 years. Or you have to start redoing characters altogether.
Because once you develop incredible amounts of synergy between teams that are so overpowering, you can't really introduce other teams that are supposed to upset that meta and give the whales something to chase without making it even more ridiculous. But on the other hand, it's kind of nice that we're getting legendary characters. I mean, this game is not even a year old since launch, and we're getting our 3rd legendary character. So even if you're not pay to play or pay to win, you have 3 different legendary paths you can choose. Let's say you just picked up this game today and say, oh, I can go get Elsa or Baymax or Beast. And they're very different farm trajectories and farming paths. But it's cool that you have so many options. I don't think we always have to look at this as necessarily as having to get all of the new characters every single time in order to stay relevant.
I like that perspective. I'm still cautiously optimistic. And, as the most negative man on YouTube, I think my pessimism needs to be somewhere figured into my view on power creep.
Okay, the Beast, his first passive, the Curse. This is really cool, and I got to give credit. This is wonderfully crafted as far as the ideal. So the beast gains Enchanted Rose for 6 turns on the battle start. And while he's affected by it, he resists all harmful effects. But on turn start, if the beast is not affected by Enchanted Rose, he gains Empowered, gaining 25% offense. Now keep in mind, he's going to be taunting, he's going to be counterattacking on himself and Belle. He's going to be stealing shield. And on top of all this, he's got abilities built into his kit that when he steals your helpful effects, he's gaining more offense. So we have multiple instances of him gaining extra offense. And when he attacks, he always deals critical strikes, which is insane.
That's a huge one that I don't think people are being too loud on in the reviews yet, but that's a big, big change. That takes Robin Hood and kind of like snaps him in half.
Well, here's what's cool about this kit. You could run Beast in 2 different ways. You can run a Beast that always has the Enchanted Rose, but there might be certain strategies where you're trying to get rid of Enchanted Rose as fast as possible. There might be times where there are going to be aspects of Belle's kit who are designed to refresh Enchanted Rose, and you don't want to use them. You want to keep Beast empowered. You don't want him to stop gaining guaranteed critical strikes and gaining this offense. So what's cool is we might see the exact same teams in the meta, say, a few weeks from now, but they might play very differently.
That's true. That's true. And as we've already seen, there's quiet synergies between characters in certain metas. And I think that if I had to take a guess, I'm going to expect Belle and Beast are going to fit in with a lot of other characters beyond the, let's call it Beauty and the Beast meta.
The Master of the Castle. The Beast has 50% bonus chance to resist Intimidate. When an opponent gains bonus speed meter, the Beast also gains bonus speed meter equal to 50% of the bonus speed meters that the opponent gained. This is meta shredding. Think of who's in the meta right now. We have Hiro.
Look, think about Hiro. He gives a full turn. So
yes.
You've now given somebody who's at more, let's say 60%. Let's say Beast is at 60% right now. You give a full turn to, let's say, like a team I used to Elsa. All of a sudden, he goes before Elsa.
Yeah, because remember, if 2 characters hit 100% at the same time, it's a coin flip. So just because your hero is giving your Elsa 100% speed meter, if the Beast hits that 100% mark at the same time, it's a 50-50 shot who actually gets to go first. Do you know who this really murders? This murders Cobra Bubbles. Like, this makes just having Cobra Bubbles on your team potentially a bad idea. Because Cobra Bubbles, let's jump to it, just so we can see it. Cobra Bubbles, who has one of the best passives in the entire game, allows him so that when his teammates are taking damage, are gaining 5% speed meter, doubled if they're Lilo and Stitch characters. If you just have Cobra Bubbles sitting, not doing anything on the other team, and you have Beast on your team, and you say do an AoE attack that hits all of Cobra Bubbles' allies on the other side, yes, Cobra's gaining speed meter, but your Beast is gaining speed meter. Cobra Bubbles is actually going to be feeding the Beast speed meter if he is his opponent. And keep in mind, Beast has abilities that prevent him from getting intimidated, which is one of the key abilities that Cobra Bubbles offers. So this just screams an anti-Cobra Bubbles kit on top of everything else.
So I'm just imagining, you know, those little, I don't know what you call them. Let's call it back window stickers, where there's that little kid taking a piss on like the Yankees emblem or whatever team that you don't like.
Yes.
That's what I'm just imagining the little kid taking a leak on just the word meta right now whenever they're thinking of Beast.
Oh my God. That's so true. Yeah, that's what's happening. This is breaking Big Hero 6. So I mean, how do we even sum this up? This is stopping through his own intimidation of the other side. It's stopping them from gaining speed meter. It's built into his kit that if they do gain speed meter, he's gaining half the benefit. And he taunts, and even if you knock him down, if you don't outright kill Beast, and remember, he's stealing shield, he's stealing helpful effects, he has harmful immunity sometimes. You're going to empower him and supercharge his offense. It really is going to put a lot of teams in a predicament of how exactly to defeat this monster.
I'm predicting it right now, unless Littlefinger goes straight up Kraken, he is going to be screaming and threatening to quit the game over Beast the second that one of his opponents that's towards the top of the tier is just beats the crap out of his team.
Well, let me say this. And this is something good to address in terms of spending real money in this game. Unless you're a super whale and unlocking all the characters first day, like a lot of the content creators are probably going to do in a few hours. One way to kind of balance out spending a little bit in this game is not to chase every single meta, but to maybe chase every other one. Like if you're going to whale out on Beauty and the Beast, just keep in mind, there's going to be the next meta that's going to maybe hard counter Beast. But you just got to be okay with that.
I do agree, but I just have a huge issue when in a short period, and this is for all mobile games, this is not just one, that you just spent probably $2,000 to get these characters and teams so you're competitive. And then your next, let's call it major unlock, just undoes all of that. I think that there should be at least 3 to 5 months where your team that you just bought has some meta applicability. I'm not saying meta dominance, meta applicability before you wipe them out completely. And this is wiping them out completely. Oddly enough,
that is why if we have a rock, paper, scissors situation, so I'm just going to throw it out there as an idea. Let's say Beast is clearly designed to bend Big Hero 6 over the table and take complete beastly advantage of them, okay? Cobra Bubbles included. But it's also kind of built in that you might be able to beat a Beauty and the Beast team or whatever hybrid Beauty and the Beast team comes out with a straight up old school Kingdom team, or even Frozen for that matter.
I say Frozen. That's the one I'm thinking of. This kind of brings Frozen back to the meta.
I will say this. Whoever invested in Tier 7 or even Tier 8 Elsa, she has withstood the test of time. She has been, if you're ever going to put money in this game, and speaking of someone who does not have her unlocked at all, and won't ever, she is still a very solid investment. And that I have to say is really cool that they did.
You know who unlocked with no money and has her Tier 7? This guy.
Nice. Well done. Well done, my friend. Okay, so any final thoughts on the Beast?
Just proceed with caution, because this to me screams the next meta will destroy Beast. So if you're not going to unlock him in the next 2 months, don't push hard. If you think you can unlock him in the next 2 months, go extremely hard.
I just want to give a few of our commenters a shout out. Cobb, thank you so much for your comment for sharing your Tapjoy strategy. I might steal that because you found a way to get a good bit of gems by spending nothing, essentially. So For those of you who have not seen our Ursula solo controversy video, check out Cobb's comment. He's got some interesting things to say there. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
And I just got a question. He said that you can return Manscaped after 30 days. Does that mean I can use it in trimming nether regions without an issue for like 29 days, then hit return and we're all good?
What that actually means is if you are manscaping yourself, someone may have already manscaped themselves with those same tools.
I never thought about that. Whoa.
And Cobb, thank you for your long comment as well for how to keep Tink viable. And I gotta say, I'm very surprised, as are a lot of our commenters and viewers, as to how Glue decided to fix that raid solo issue. They did probably the best fix possible. I'm actually astonished.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I think they did a very good job compared to their other times they've been faced with similar predicaments.
Look,
but
I feel like if you
I don't love the fact of
without,
diminishing unport ability.
Yeah, look, if you fixing it without nerfing a character's kit, that for me was the biggest deal. So as far as I'm concerned, it was definitely a win.
I would have preferred to see a cap on usage, not a diminishing usage where I can't physically track it in a way. That's my issue, is that if you said I can only use it 7 times, I'm just going to take a random thing, 7 times per like quarters of the battles, cool, I can track that. But I don't know after using it the 4th time how diminished it is because they don't provide actual stats to it. So that's my only issue with it, is that I think that would have taken it from, let's call, a good job to the correct job.
I see. and this is actually perfect timing. When I read this comment, Martin Del Rosario said, "You need a positive guy to balance your super negative." Pretty sure he's talking to me and talking about you, who farted. So part of our jokes definitely have to do with Martin Del Rosario and some of our other posters on this, which is and that includes you, James Wiggins. Thank you so much for your comments.
So I'd like to address this a little bit. So to start out with, I reviewed our video, and do I disagree that I was negative? No. I think I'm being realistic, but I can understand the view of negative. But I'd like to point out that 4 out of my 5, let's call it negative points, were correct within a day and a half. So I like this. I like to consider myself a realist, but I do see why it came off as a negative tone. So I'm gonna smile right now, even though I can't see it. So therefore, I wasn't completely negative this video. So
well, look,
you got that.
Well, here's a big advantage. One thing we really try to be here is authentic. And when we have a video like today, where we are showing our excitement about a character and some of the fixes that have been done in the game, I think our viewers know it's coming from a genuine place, because when we are disappointed, Lord knows our viewers hear about it.
Exactly. And to be honest, to build on that, if I'm excited about something, that should mean so much more. So if I'm getting really into it, that should tell you that this is not, and I'm not throwing a shot at Cozy, but I'm using Cozy Gamer as an example. Everything is amazing to Cozy Gamer. Like, I think you could shit on his keyboard and he'd go, "You won't believe what Glue just did for me."
Actually, if you did that, he would say, "It's a beautiful day for some DSA."
That was a great line. That was a great line. But yes, so if you see either of us being that upbeat about it, that should tell you everything. And secondly, to whoever made the comment, I'm not a special guest. I'm a guest host, if anything, if not co-host, although I kind of come and go enough that you could call me
like the wind.
Guest host. Exactly.
jumping back to James Wiggins, he had a good argument against you for not believing Belle would be a good character. I'm not sure who came out on top, actually. We'll see.
I think I came out on top just for the sheer reason
if
that
Belle's
the
a
way
standalone, who party you might be a winner, but Belle with Beast, I don't know. I might have to give it to
no,
Wiggins.
but that's exactly what I was hinting at, was that based on her the movie character, it doesn't lend itself to an OP character. And when I say OP, I mean standalone. I don't mean add-on. Belle came out exactly how I expected her.
Well, look, Mad Dog completely agrees with you because he actually called you an oracle.
Thank you, Mad Dog. Finally, someone who gets exactly what I'm putting out there.
I will say this. I really do enjoy when the game breaks because every time it does, I feel like their make goods are getting better and better these days. I mean, that's pretty nice.
Oh, I completely agree. This is finally them getting that this doesn't only impact whales, this impacts free-to-play, and you really are making a tangible difference for free-to-play. So kudos to Glue. This is the best make nice I think they've ever done in terms of timing and what they're providing. So big ups to Glue on this.
Yes. Our final shout out is to Melee Waluigi, who, besides having a fantastic name, I gotta say, kind of took you to town, who farted, on disagreeing whether Madam Mim is one of the worst characters in the game. And he had this to say, which was, "Get me whatever this guy is smoking because that shit must be real strong." Well done. Well done.
I got to give it up. Like, I don't mind if you come back on me and you prove me wrong. And if you especially put it in that tone, I love it. So yeah. Have at it. Love the comment. Definitely am very amicable to being proven wrong and learning from whatever gaps I miss.
One thing I would like of our viewers, take a look at Maurice's ability, his leadership. Grand Summon teammates 20% offense, 25% speed. This should work with shadows as well. This is really cool. So we would love to hear your ideas. I feel like I'm kind of excited about Maurice just because even though we need him for the Beast event, I feel like the ideal team to run with Maurice has nothing to do with Beauty and the Beast. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have to come up with. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. We'll see you next time.